house.
Hey.
Jeanette Diva J. Horse Smith in the house.
Yes, pleasure to be here as always.
It is. We're tag teaming. Before we get into today's show, a special thank you to In Touch News and In Touch Radio.
Absolutely.
In the studio, you can't see him, but he's here. Tammy and Daryl put on a fabulous Valentine's Day affair last week. We told you a little bit about it. Focusing on love, focusing on heart healthy. It was a healthy relationship. They provided us with phenomenal, and you were there.
I was
you were
there for my
with your
special
sweetheart.
night under the stars. I was there.
With her husband. And I was blessed to have my son, but my husband wasn't having it. He had his date on Saturday.
Oh.
But a phenomenal event. The entertainment was on point. The people, the vibe, the look. It was a great way for us to come together. Mm-hmm. If y'all wondering who I'm looking at DJ CEO. A fabulous time. So a special shout out to In Touch News Radio, your sponsors, the THAP Group,
the Wakanda Village.
Oh, it was Wakanda, all the way. The food.
On the way to the event, my husband goes, "Are we going to Wakanda?"
I love it. To all of our listeners, you know that 5508, the campus. This campus is Wakanda. Thank you, Derek Blue. That's what he termed it last year.
Absolutely.
So at this moment, also a special shout out to USF Health. So we're going to talk about today your healthy business. I'm going to show you, for those of you that can see, our purse cam. This is the Michelle Obama. She's called the Shelly, brought to us by La Diva Couture Boutique. So one blessed caller will receive this purse. As you know, we will have a purse cam every week. So check it out. No, you cannot call in. You cannot call in. So we're going to get ready and get started. We are so excited to have Diva J here. I've really known her all her life.
Literally.
This girl was born a diva. And if you've seen one of those little babies that come out and they're already energetic, Diva J can do it all. And now she's a professional businesswoman. She has relocated here from D.C., but while she was here, I love the way at our introductory show, her moment in Black history. And it was my son, Rocky, that termed your grandfather the mayor of West Tampa.
Johnny Lewis.
Mr. Johnny Lewis. And so you're going to hear a little bit about that. Mm-hmm. But Diva J, tell them a little bit about how you got into the business. You're a radio personality, TV personality.
Yeah.
One of my daughters.
Best friend for life, forever. Oh, man. I mean, so I guess I'll start on Arch Street.
Yes. 2116, 2113, 2115.
2121.
2121.
So growing up in West Tampa and really understanding the story of my grandfather and his business endeavors, how he had to get the help of a Caucasian colleague to get his first loan, to buy a pinball machine, and to open up the shop that still sits on Main Street to this day. Today. And so just in understanding his story, I knew that all things, again, were possible very early. And so, in fact, you were one of my first clients when Alana and I started A&J gift wrapping service.
Yes.
I hope you recall.
Oh, of course I recall. My living room was crowded with wrapping paper and boxes and ribbons and note cards.
And it was a way for us to make money. And so you've been a big part of what I call the village that's raised me.
Absolutely.
Teaching me how to braid hair.
Absolutely.
It's the little things. And so I say that it's because of the exposure that was afforded to me by my village, by my parents and my brothers and sisters that has really guided my steps along the way. And so then, of course, I hit high school. I become Miss in Living Color, and here come Miss Tampa Bay Tammy. So Miss Tampa Bay Tammy, girl, you gotta get out. So thanks to Miss Tammy and DJ CEO, they really embraced me and gave me this platform of communication. And so when you wonder, how did I get into it? Where did I start writing? I didn't know I even liked it until I was given the opportunity by In Touch News. So I definitely give all thanks, gratitude, kudos to In Touch News for supporting a little girl out of West Tampa like me and allowing me to fine-tune my skills and really find a passion for what I do today.
And that's where it all begins. And we, as a part of that village, as we are starting to, we're 22 now, so I'm not sure how old you are.
I'm about 17
I'm with Shanae on this one. We're 22. But that being said, during that time, it was important for us to support the village. And on Arch Street in our community, it truly was a village. I mean, that was a place where we had block parties.
Yeah,
and
literally.
And I mean, we could shut down a block and be able to have a party. But to have someone like Mr. Lewis, who was an entrepreneur and allowed all of the children in the neighborhood to actually go to his store. He taught business. He taught business etiquette. He taught what it was to be respectful, how to be a man. I mean, he'd walk down the street and say, "Boy, straighten up your shoulders. Look up."
I think it was a Boy Scout leader.
He was a Boy Scout leader. Yeah. My son was a Cub Scout. Started with him, and that's some of the things that and Daryl and I, we understand the importance of what it means to give back. And what it means to, we can't be in the position where we're in today if we're not helping someone else, if we're not impacting someone else's life, if we're not lending a hand to lift someone up, then we're not doing our job.
Absolutely. We're
not. We've got to prepare the next generation to be able to come in and do what needs to be done, or we're going to lose our communities. We're already losing our communities. You've got regentrification coming through and our businesses. And I can attest to that because we looked at this last year as well, the year before last, and to have lost 35, and DJ CEO, you may be able to shed some light, 35 businesses that were listed in the Black pages have closed their doors. That's an exceptionally high number. Now, you can go in and look at each one as a case study and be able to see that there were different things. And one of the reasons, important reason for having Diva J on is to talk about branding your business. And we're going to jump into that. But we wanted to be able to do something with this show and always look back at our community, businesses in our community, and use this platform to recognize, to give them a shout out, and to bring that historical component into our show and our lives and our community. It will not stop here. We will keep this going. I know you have your moment in Black history. I was at the fair. What was that? Monday, the last day, Florida State Fair. This is how you know you're about to become 28 from 22. We're at the fair with my siblings, my two sisters. But this was a different type of gathering. We were there with our adult children, and they were there with their children. 3 generations at the Florida State Fair. Now, there are a lot of rides. I got rejected. I was told I was too tall to get on certain rides. And my son, Yanni, said, well, that's the first time she's heard that, because I'm not very tall. I'm over 5 feet.
Right.
But that's not considered tall.
I understand.
But that being said, I must share with you my favorite portion of the visit to the fair. It was in the exhibit. It was the African American, I'm going to say Black history moment of many moments displayed. Is that a call coming through?
Uh-oh.
We do have a call-in show. By the way, the number is 813-444-9588. We didn't even announce that, and the phones are ringing. But that being said, I'll go back to this point. Caller, just hang in there for a second. We got to the exhibit. My granddaughter is about 3 years of age. When she saw the exhibit, she was mesmerized. She wanted to take a picture by each one of the historical featured highlights that were there. So I'm walking through the exhibit. I had an idea of what was there. Some of our members had shared that with us. But I got to this one section, DJ CEO, and it was James A. Hammond, the founder, president, CEO of the THAP Group, Tampa Hillsborough Action Plan. But long before there was a Tampa Hillsborough Action Plan, there was Hammond Electric. Yes, he owned an electrical company. And to see his story, shout outs to Ursula Odom, who was responsible for depicting that whole section.
It was beautiful. I saw it.
It was absolutely beautiful.
I saw it.
I eased under the ropes to take a picture.
Oh, wow.
And to have known this gentleman all my life. My grandfather worked in masonry. He was a contractor, licensed contractor in doing so. And his home and Mr. Hammond's home are just blocks apart. And their homes are practically identical for that era. So my grandfather got to do the work on his home as well as Mr. Hammond's home. So that moment was so special to me. And watching my granddaughter just run around and wanting to participate and be a part of each part of the exhibit, I knew right then that my moment, Diva J, in Black history was going to be about Mr. Hammond.
Yep.
So long before there was the THAP Group, his lovely wife, and our families have known the families. She was actually my aunt's teachers, and my aunts would actually go and babysit the kids when they were younger. So shout out to all of you, the three of you, the four of you that are blessed to have such a great parent. But one of the things about Mr. Hammond was the fact that he believed in helping others. And that was so important. He made a point. He shared with me a story, and it's you'll hear about it later if you haven't heard about it already. He recognized the disenfranchisement when it came to African Americans getting jobs in major corporations. He was turned down so many times. So one day, Diva J, he decides to go into GTE on the president's floor. He didn't knock on the door. Got that door open and went in and said, how do we hire people, blacks, into your company? And, they gave him the runaround. And it's important to know people. It's important to know your elected officials. It's important to know what their jobs entail, what it is they can and cannot do for you. So you will know who to call when you need someone. So he did. He made a phone call to one of the elected officials and said, shouldn't this company who's receiving government funds be in a position to hire African Americans? Well, that call stimulated another call, which stimulated another call. And as a result of that, he gets a call from the president of the company and said, how can we help? He said, well, I tell you what, I will get some teachers together. I will get the equipment, which was loaned to them from IBM for 30 days.
Wow.
I will prepare individuals to take your test. And you know why? Because the company said African Americans couldn't pass the tests. That stings, even today, to hear it. It stings.
Yeah.
But he didn't stop there. He got volunteer teachers, and they taught students how to use those dictaphones or whatever they were called back in the day. We could say hello, and we can operate a phone just like anyone else.
Absolutely.
But to tell you more about what happened after that, we're going to take a break. We will be back. Let's talk business with Cheryl J. Cusseaux and co-host Diva J.
Hey, hey.
See you on the other side of the break.
In Touch Radio, where you can listen to a cruising flow of smooth soul and jazz, today's R&B, a fun touch of hip hop and gospel.
All my music on one station.
Give it a
been very tough. I don't know if I would have been able to go to the college that I went to, and then I don't know if I would have gotten into the career that I am in. So I think Bright Futures has done a lot to shape my life. Got a job as a structural engineer, and I design residential buildings, commercial buildings all over the United States. Because of Bright Futures, I was able to go to college. You know, so many kids just don't even ever get that opportunity, and to be able to do it and not have any debt when I graduated is amazing, and it was all thanks to Bright Futures.
Florida has created more than 1 million jobs in only 5 years, and a great education connects our students to these exciting opportunities. That's why the Florida Lottery has funded Bright Futures scholarships to help over 725,000 students attend college. Because every play is for education. The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
Hey, Tampa Bay. Want to cruise to Cuba? Tampa to Havana? We've got the best prices. Call Kinsey Travel, 863-274-3715. That's Kinsey Travel, 863-274-3715. Baby, let's cruise.
Okay, all right. We are back. Before we get back into our story and our moment in Black history, caller, please come in.
Hello, ladies. How are you?
Hello, hello. And who do we have the pleasure of speaking with?
You have Gina on the line.
Hey,
Hi,
Gina.
Hey, ladies.
So sweet. Thank you so much for calling in. Now, how can we help you? What information would you like to know?
I am actually calling about the Michelle Obama purse giveaway.
Well, you better stay around until we announce the moment that you'll get to go back and dial that number in. We will make a special announcement and say to our radio listening audience, we are about to give away the Michelle Obama purse called the Shelley. And we're going to say now is the time to call in.
I was getting a jump on things.
I appreciate that. But having said that, let me say to you and to our listening audience, you can actually go online, and we'll put the link after our show to La Diva Couture Boutique, and she has a listing of all of her beautiful handbags. But because this is Purse Cam, we want you to be able to win it right here. She will also be on the show next week, and she'll bring some additional purses as well.
Nice.
Thanks, Gina.
You ladies are very informative, and you sound great.
Oh, thank you so much. We appreciate you. We appreciate your support. So we're going to finish this story off. Remember, we were told that we could not pass the test. So the test was administered to, I believe it was about 30 or 35 individuals. They all passed the test.
Of course.
They were all hired sight unseen. And we will actually have a person on the show that will come on and talk about how multiple generations began to work with that company. And guess what? They'll be able to come out here and put a block on Hammond's block row.
Nice.
You'll hear about that later. So that was my moment in Black history. We appreciate the work of Mr. Hammond. He is a living legacy. And that being said, we're going to switch gears and hear from Diva J.
Hey.
Hey.
Okay. So I was, when Cheryl said, think of your Black history moment, I remember living in D.C.
Okay.
Last show, I talked about how one of my first clients was Dr. Tomel DeVos.
Yes.
And he was a dentist, one of the first African-American dentists that I met.
Your client.
Yeah, it ended up becoming my first client. And so in working with Dr. DeBose, one thing we wanted to start doing was to start documenting the history of African Americans in dentistry.
Oh, wow.
And so then I began to do my due diligence to start doing some research. Of course, I realized that Howard University, HU, all day,
yes,
as well as Meharry were the only two HBCUs that had a dental school. So then I began wondering, okay, well, how am I going to find the history? So then I went to Baltimore and I went to the National Museum of Dentistry just to see what they had on African Americans in dentistry, who were our pioneers. And I found kind of a disappointing find. I found a small corner with a little flat screen TV.
Oh.
And it had some lines about Howard and some lines about Meharry, and that was it.
This didn't do us justice.
So then I began to realize, okay, has the history not been written? And sure enough, persistence, diligence, I found out that Dr. Clifton Dummett, he was born in 1919. He is known, a renowned dentist, of course, but a dental historian. He's written over 270 publications about the history of African Americans in dentistry.
Oh my goodness.
And I know it may even seem random that I'm talking about dentistry, but for me, it was dentists who were some of my most loyal and some of my most supportive clients in starting out my business. And so when I realized that dentistry is one of those high income professions, I realized the caliber of people I was networking with.
Okay.
The National Dental Association is still one of my clients and one of the few associations, if not the only, for African American dentists. And so when I learned about Dr. Dummett, I had to find him. And sure enough, I found a number for him and I called him, based in California. And he sounded old, feeble, and weak. And I told him what I was trying to do. He said, honey, I don't know if you're going to catch me. But, you know, he told me about his work. He told me about his passion. And he was more than a historian. He broke records. He was the first in dentistry to do a lot of things. And so for him to document that, he as a person he's a part of history himself. But for him to have been, to have the foresight to document the history of dentistry, and more importantly, African Americans within it, was inspirational. And so unfortunately, Dr. Dummett has passed. But I think his name needs to be said a little bit more.
And I think you are going to be the person that's going to do that.
I hope so. I hope so. I still have an itch to put that documentary together, because there are some great stories of who are now a lot of African American millionaires through dentistry.
Diva J, it is not happenstance that happens to be the profession that you decided to speak on today. At 5508, right now, going on is our Lunch and Learn.
Okay.
The guest sponsor for, yes, I'm going there. The guest sponsor is Tomlinson Dental Group.
Wow. Wow.
It's a family, Angela Tomlinson, it's a family-owned dental practice that's been here for many, many years. They were one of the first advertisers in DSI Black Pages. And to this day, DJ CEO still advertise in the publication. So they're here. And we're going to enjoy their food in just a minute. But that being said, and this is why it's just perfect, a perfect segue.
Yeah.
We generally do announcements at the end of the show. There's another individual. His name is Dr. William Marsh, orthodontist.
I've heard about Dr. Marsh.
Yes, you have. He has been a mainstay in our community for many, many years, and his lovely wife, Joyce Marsh. Well, on Saturday, March 2nd at 6 p.m., 6 to 11, at the Carrollwood Country Club, we will have the link. There are only a few seats left, but this is also being put on by the Tampa Bay Area Dental Association. We've got to get you there.
That's small world, and
Very
I'll be there.
small.
I'll be there.
And so apropos for such a time as this.
Absolutely.
So you talked about that. You talked about the importance of it. You talked about how you benefited from reaching out to them, getting one client, then multiple clients. So what were you doing for this practice or practices?
So initially, I had started as an intern, just trying to figure out what was marketing, you know?
I love it.
And then in being creative, being determined, knowing that I was making a future for myself, I kept digging, and I never said no to any challenges or projects that were presented to me. And so it was just a matter of networking. I was putting together what are called continual education courses for the DeVos Institute for Dentistry. Yep. And so that put me in a position to meet a lot of the local dentists in the DMV area, as well as a lot of the educators within the industry who were coming as our speakers. And so in just facilitating that whole process for years, 7, 8 years almost. It's been, because it's been the beginning of my business. So we're 8 years old. So yes, it's been about 8 years.
Salute to you.
Thank
and 8
you.
years.
Yeah. And it really just, again, put me in the room. And that's something I'm going to hit on. I always
Good.
say be in the room, but I'm going to touch on how that relates back to business and branding. But again, it was just a matter of being in the right place at the right time and meeting the right people.
Well, one of the things we decided, and Jeanette and I, Diva J's, we've had this conversation, was to always talk about in this show the who, what, when, where, and why. And we wanted to be able to bring to and provide information that will support our small business owners. Being that she's the one that can certainly help you as the marketing branding guru, I know you've got your list of things that you want to cover. But I do want you to help our radio listening, our YouTubers, our Facebook family. When, as a business consultant,
Yep.
there's a lot of confusion about branding and marketing, but yet they go together.
Absolutely. Hand in hand.
Because marketing becomes a very important component in branding your business.
yes.
So when you're talking about the who, what, when, and where, I do want you to be able to break that down for our listening audience so that they can understand they need them both.
Absolutely.
And how they work together.
Absolutely.
So we're going to start with your strategic points.
Okay, well, I'm gonna try to hit through them, and if I don't
Okay.
finish, you can catch me on third Wednesday next month.
That's right.
But some of the things I want to start on or hit on is one, getting started,
Getting started,
budgeting and planning,
realizing
that you are your brand, and then staying relevant.
So we're looking at you, and you are your brand.
I am my brand.
I am my brand. DJ CEO, I am my brand.
Right. And so, and kind of covering this, you brought up a good point. I think it's important to clarify that very early in the conversation, branding versus marketing. And in my own personal life, when someone said, "Hey, do you like marketing?" I was like, "Yeah." I had no clue what it was. I was just like, "Give me a job." Branding is the actual identity of something. When we let's think all the way back to farmer days. They branded their cows.
Correct.
They put a mark on
Great
it
example.
so that you knew it belonged to them. You knew that's not my cow. That must be Joe's cow. You know, it was a brand. It's something that you saw that represented ownership. And so that's what a brand is. And a brand is conveyed not just in a logo, not just in a scar, but it's definitely conveyed in everything that people see, think about, or feel. It's an emotion that should be evoked when people see your brand.
Wow,
And
I haven't quite heard it explained that way. An emotion. So we should get excited.
Yes, absolutely.
Continue.
And for example, when a kid opens up a box for Christmas and they're unwrapping that gift and they see that the box is yellow, they're getting excited because you know why? They're hoping it's Nikes.
I already know why.
So the Nike brand gets them excited.
Yes.
Same thing with the Xbox. You know, these brands get people excited, not because they like the literal Xbox, because of the experience that the product brings. So the brand is just step one.
Okay, step one, getting started.
And so, and then marketing, and we're going to go back. I can break it down, but I'm just giving you the difference.
We're going to break it down to DJ CEO tells us we're out of time.
Right.
20 seconds to commercial.
Right. And so then really quick, marketing is simply positioning your business, putting your business in a place to where your target audience and or AKA your market would have access to it and or learn about it. So the market is easy, but the branding sets the tone.
That's a perfect segue as we go into our commercial break. Thank you for joining us. We see your posts coming through live. We'll try to answer some as we go to our commercial break.
Hey, this is Miss K with K's Kitchen, cooking Chicago-style fried chicken and fish with the authentic Chicago-style mild sauce. Come check us out at 5508 North 50th Street in Tampa. We're open Wednesday through Saturday from 12 to 6, or you can call us at 813-368-5196. Again, that number is 813-368-5196. See you soon.
Call Ricky. DJ called Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen or sun down 184-361 Rick. That's 184-361-7425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, push your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361 Rick. Call Ricky, ask Ricky is a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and giving you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361 Rick. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
Hey, this is Tampa Bay Tammy. Don't forget to pick up your copy of In Touch News.
All right, Facebook Live, to all of our YouTubers, to our radio listening audience, we are back. You're here with Let's Talk Business with Cheryl J. Cusseaux and Diva J, and we're talking about branding your business. So she left us with an image. And this is what you have to think about. You are your business. Each time you step out of your door, you step out of your office, you are your business. The way you look, the way you speak, you represent your brand. So be very, very careful in what you do that. Even when you're walking and having a conversation and getting a conversation started, or like Diva J said earlier, be in the room. Mm-hmm. But if you're in the room, make sure your presence is known, because that's the beginning process of your marketing strategy. Right, Diva J?
Absolutely. Look, you had me checking stuff off. I said, I don't have to say that anymore.
When you're in publishing, we know all too well that we are our brand. And if you're in publishing, one of the things you have to do is make sure that people know that you are there.
Absolutely.
Because you get to represent them at some point in different areas of your business. So back to you.
Yeah, and so I guess let's take it with the you are your brand, because I think that's important.
Very.
You can have a beautiful logo, but if you bring something to me in tattered pants and torn shoes, and your logo means nothing, and so it's about not just being in the room, but showing up and how you show up.
Okay.
It's not all about how you look. It's how you talk, how you present yourself. How confident are you, not just in yourself, but in your product or service?
I like the way you work that how in.
Well,
we got the who, the what, now the how.
Yeah. And so when you're talking about you being your own brand, or you being the brand, it's just making sure you remember that in everything you do, on the clock, off the clock, what you post on social media.
So important.
Is so important.
Now, you got to spend a couple of minutes on social media platforms.
I'm going to get there. I'm going to get, because that's a whole gamut.
That's its own segment.
Yeah, that's a whole one. So that was just in saying that you are your brand. And then another part of that is, what is your introduction? When you show up, how do you introduce yourself?
Okay.
And so it's important to practice that. Now, I say this to a lot of my clients, and they look at me crazy. I said, do you talk to yourself? They say, no. I said, you should. I remember when I was high school, college, trying to figure out if journalism was what I wanted to do. I would look in the mirror playing the news, and I would repeat what the newscaster said. Okay. So, hi, this is Jen. I would play that game, just trying to figure out how I wanted to present myself. How do I want to introduce myself? If I don't know how I look, how can I be confident in it?
Okay.
So it's important to get to know you. Getting to know you is a part of also building your brand and making sure that you're representing yourself and your company likewise.
I like that. Getting to know you.
Mm-hmm. And so then after you've done all that, then it's about getting started, right? So getting started is an easy part, but then it's a hard part. You got to plan. The planning comes before you get started with anything. And I know you can appreciate this as a business consultant. One of the things we talked about are people who are planning their business plans and do not include marketing in the plan.
Marketing budget.
It's like building a railroad, building a train with no railroad tracks. Like, where are you going? You have this beautiful train, but nowhere to go. And so your marketing plan is something that allows you to have a strategy in everything that you do. It should always be intentional, down to the necklace you wear. And the reason I say that, I had a meeting today, and a girl said, do you always wear a statement necklace? I said, no, but I'm going to be on In Touch Radio, and the camera's only going to get from about mid-stomach up, so I thought I should have on a piece.
Yes.
And she was like, whoa. So I try to practice what I preach. No one's perfect, but be intentional. Have a plan. Do things that make sense in order to take your brand along its journey. But in that plan, people always say, well, how much do I budget? That's the key question.
Okay. How much, Jeanette?
On average, you should budget about 1% of your annual earnings for your marketing.
Now, that's a great tip because DJ CEO and I both deal with individuals on a daily basis about putting those dollars into the plan. 1%. You've got 100%. 10% going to your faith-based organization.
Right.
But 1%.
1%.
$100,000 year in sales, and you're saying 1%.
$10,000.
$10,000. $10,000.
At least.
That's getting started.
It's about getting started. So that means in your first year, let's say you only made $10,000.
Okay.
$1,000.
$1 grand.
It could take you a long way. And so when you're intentional about developing a marketing plan, you meet with a person like myself or a person like you.
And I refer them to you.
Right, and get referred back to me. You meet with a person who can help you understand the cost of certain campaigns and strategies and understand that marketing isn't about billboards. It's about being strategic consistently and through phases. I say get started in phases. Don't try to do everything at once. You just open your doors. You don't need a billboard.
Putting all of your money in one platform.
Exactly.
And you've got to touch base on that because you've got different forms of media that you can use and other avenues that you can use your advertising dollars for. So I know that's coming up in your script as well.
Absolutely. So actually that's the next piece. I literally wrote different campaigns require different budgets.
There you have it.
Same page. This is when you know what you're talking about. So you have your online advertising.
Yes.
To me, I consider that low-hanging fruit. Okay. Because online advertising is fairly affordable. It could be whether you're boosting your post on social media. It could be whether you're calling In Touch News to say, hey, can I buy an ad on your website?
That's a good one.
It could just be a plethora of things. But it being digital makes it affordable because there's not a lot of production cost that goes into it. So being intentional with online advertising could be very good, especially if you're a startup business. And then, of course, you have print advertising.
Of course you do. I can think of one right here.
DSI
Black Pages. I can think of another.
In Touch News.
In Touch News. And we meet you where you are.
Exactly.
Advertising with our companies, very affordable.
Absolutely. And then there's even within print advertising, there's different ways to do it. A feature article.
Yes.
An editorial. An actual ad space. A business feature. There's so many creative ways. And so that also changes the cost. So coming out, you may not be ready to purchase the cover spot. Okay, you might be on the last 2 pages, but you're going to get there. And so it's about that plan. It's about understanding what it takes to get there. And so there's different campaigns, different budgets, but it has to be a part of the plan.
So start with 1%.
Start with 1%.
That's a great start. That's a great start. And I know in publishing, we can help a lot of people. Sometimes it just starts with your business card.
Exactly.
That's the marketing piece. Mm-hmm. That's the beginning step of putting your brand out for your target audience and others.
Yep. And then one of the things after you've set up the brand, you've gotten your plan, you got your budget, to the side.
Got your budget, got your 1%.
You're ready to kind of roll it out. You've designed your logo. Your logo speaks to what you do. And so after you've designed the logo, then you're moving into whatever other branding you may want. You may want pens. You may want stationery. You may want other collateral or merchandise. So you've gotten all that set. You're ready to roll out your marketing strategies, and you're going pretty good. But then you realize it's getting a little boring. How do I stay relevant?
Who do I call?
Now, I will say one person, and it's because I saw him on a bus today, Magic Johnson.
Okay.
He has mastered staying relevant. And so that's what I mean when I say staying relevant. You may start out, he's a basketball player, but now he's the spokesperson for Simply Healthcare.
Yes.
It's not about saying, oh, well, I just work on cars. Okay, you work on cars, but there are other things you can do to stay relevant. So even if it doesn't have to do with the car, because you're a part of it and you are your brand.
You are your brand.
Then that's all that really matters.
And there are other cars that you want to be able to work on, so don't think small.
Right. Right. So staying relevant means being informed,
Being
knowing
informed.
what's going on, like this lovely event by the Tampa Bay Area Dental Association that I love to go to.
Called Paradise.
Paradise. Being informed, knowing what's going on within your market, networking. Networking is one of the best ways to stay relevant because people know a lot of things. People offer opportunities for you that you would have never knew existed.
Which is what's going on today. Lunch and Learn.
Right.
You're in the room.
Right.
And as a part of Lunch and Learn, we allow all of our guests to be able to come and introduce their business. And they can take a tip.
Wow.
Because it's every third Wednesday at 12, from 12 to 1. So you know you're going to be in the room. But I must say this, and DJ CEO, you can appreciate this. Ken Anthony had this saying, and I copied him many, many years ago. Ken Anthony would walk into a room and he would say, "Hi, my name is Ken Anthony. I sell insurance." And that's how he got the conversation started.
There you go.
Ken did that. I don't care where he went. It doesn't matter who the person was. He shook your hand eye to eye, and that was his statement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Still works for him today. He owns today his own insurance company. Back then, it was Allstate, State Farms. Affinity Insurance. You know, I know. Advertisers in the black pages.
Hey.
You can find them all there. What's next, Diva J?
So, in talking about staying relevant, using social media. So now we can talk about the social media piece. Because, see, I think some people may get staying relevant confused with reposting and sharing everything.
I like the way you said everything.
Everything.
Before you get too far along,
Okay.
let's check in with how are we doing with time, because I want Jeanette to be able to finish her segment on social media. Okay.
Okay, so I will say this. There's a lot that's going on within the world of social media. And so you have to be conscious of the content you post, the content you share, the content you like, the content you tag other people in, because all of that in the world of the World Wide Web is connected. And I don't know if you're like me, but I was talking about going to the fair, and then next thing I know, everything I looked at was about the fair. So they're listening, they're watching,
Big brother.
they're calculating. And so it's important that you're aware of that. Be an informed browser, be an informed user, but use it.
Use it.
It is a marketing tool. It is direct access to potential clients and consumers for free.
It is.
Free. So if you have absolutely no budget, the least you can do is create a Facebook page, an Instagram page, a Twitter page, and post. It's no cost to do that.
No cost to do that.
For my people out there who say, well, I
free.
have no way, start with free.
Okay.
Yeah. So I will leave you with that for these 3 minutes. But there's a lot more next month on the third Wednesday when I'll be here co-hosting with the lovely Cheryl Cusseaux.
We're just coming back for our, we're going to do a commercial break, and then we'll be able to come back. Oh, my goodness. Where does the time go? Where does the time go? We are so excited to be able to bring to you Let's Talk Business. We were able to also put in a little and share a little about Black History Month. But, Gene, start dialing. You've got a couple of minutes to get your call in. Who wants to win the Michelle Obama crossbody purse?
813-444-9588. Call right now to win this purse.
First caller, it's yours. Come on, Gene. And while we're, Gina, and while we're waiting for the phone, I see your post. You better start dialing. We want to say thank you. Thank you to my co-host, Diva J. You'll hear me interchangeably go from Jeanette to Diva Day because she's been Jeanette most of the time I've known her. And then in her young adulthood, when she recognized and identified with herself, she became Diva J of President, Founder, Coordinating and Marketing LLC.
Yep. So feel free to follow us on social media at Dash Marketing, and you can visit the website dashmarketingllc.com.
I also heard you talk about your logos.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also important for them to understand you also can handle the graphic components of designing their logos. We talked about the Tampa Bay Area Dental Association. We gave them a shout out. Their event is Saturday, March the 2nd at Carrollwood Country Club. You have an announcement, so by all means, talk to us.
So I am the event producer for the Tampa Housing Authority 11th annual charity golf tournament. I say that all day. And so we are still accepting sponsors, golfers. We have some exciting things coming up. Our special guest is Steve Monroe, a Bay Area local and a World Long Drive professional. So he's going to be there on the course. If you want information, go to thagolf.com.
And you know what? When you were on the first show, one of our collaborators heard you, DJ CEO. That's why this is so important. Two important things. Called Ricky, asked Ricky, heard the announcement, came to my office, print media in my conference room. He says, I want to be involved. How do I get signed up? He is not here today. And I said, you would be here on the radio station today. And he's like, just hook me up. Well, that's what we do. We hook people up.
It's done.
And that's important to know that. And we want you to know that we thank you all. For those of you that tuned in with us, we're going to take a break, but we'll be back.
When it comes to reality radio, everyone is a star.
Shining star for you to see what your life can truly be.
On your smooth soul and R&B station. On the World Wide Web. In Touch Radio.
So believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking kids state of Florida. Grab a pen or sun down 184-361-RICK. That's 184-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, push your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky is a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and giving you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
Hey, this is Dr. B. Listen, are you looking for your Sunday fix? You need to tune in to In Touch Radio, reality radio where everyone's a star, and on Sundays we have gospel all day long.
Hey, we're back. We're live. Let's talk business with Cheryl J. Cusseaux. I'm here today with my third Wednesday co-host, Diva J, and she's been here educating us on the importance of marketing, but understanding that in order to market your business, you've got to develop your brand. So the two go together hand in hand. And she gave us some important points about that. And one that just really, really sticks with me is being noticed when you're in the room. But listen, we talked about networking. We shared with you that every third Wednesday here at the FAP Group on the campus of 5508, where we are the boss, you get to come and talk about your business. We're giving you a platform where you can come into the room, have lunch at no cost to you. If you're a business owner and you want to come and talk about your business with about 40 plus people, sponsor the lunch. Come in and tell us about your business. Tell us about your business brand. You may have something that we're interested in. We may want to support you. What we're going to do on this show is always have someone here talking about their business. So we're going to turn back to Diva J so that she can finish giving us tidbits on social media branding your business.
Absolutely. And so social media, it's a powerful tool. A lot of people, so then you have people who aren't so familiar to say, well, which one should I use? Because there are a lot.
Which one?
I will say, depending on your target audience, is how you determine which social media site is best. So if you are someone who you're targeting kind of your millennial generation, teens, all the way up to maybe 35 or so, Instagram is probably going to actually be your best social media platform to use.
Instagram.
Yep. I would say, really, I would say about 26 and older, Facebook is good to use.
I'm so glad we're still 22.
I lowered it a couple of years for a couple of people.
Okay, we got to get back on Instagram.
So Instagram is great for your younger generations. Facebook is great for kind of your middle age, more mature audiences. And then Twitter is good if you are establishing yourself as an expert in your industry, because it allows you to drop content, whether it's facts, stats, updates, just information. It allows you to be really informative within 140 characters.
Free.
And it's still free.
I see you've got your phone in your hand.
Yeah.
So give us a shout out. And I'm looking here. Hey, Eric Brown. Hey, Val Poland. Who you got?
Oh, man.
What's over there?
I have Josh Tabor, Margot, Angela, everyone. Derek.
We see you.
Yep.
We see you all. Thank you so much. And this is what she's talking about.
Exactly.
Being able to have that presence there. So we're in the room. We're in the studio. We're looking at ourselves on this monitor. We're looking at DJ CEO at In Touch News, but we're using social media.
Absolutely.
We're live on Facebook.
People in other states, other countries are able to chime in. Gina from Memphis.
Memphis, Tennessee. And listen, depending upon where we are, she was our first caller. She called us from Tennessee. Mm-hmm. We're just going to make sure she gets a purse.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. I'll talk to my sponsor.
And
if not, I'm the business owner. I can make that executive decision. But remember, it's a call-in show. The number is 813-444-9588. As we turn another shout out.
Hold on. Maybe. But the power of
you
technology is
in.
crazy. There we go. We got a couple Lewises on here. Now, another thing that I think is important too, a lot of people say certain things get boring or they don't have different creative ideas. Like, okay, Jeanette, we've done social media for 3 months. Now what? Promotional events are good. For example, the wonderful event In Touch Radio had on Valentine's night. Brilliant. Great marketing.
Most of your marketing was done radio, print.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Social media?
Social media?
I think I saw it on social media as well. I did, actually.
We saw our photos on social media at the event.
Right.
Matter of fact, I'm looking at a post that came through this morning. People are still commenting on the 4 ladies kicking up their legs.
Right.
You missed that. I tagged Tammy.
I saw that. And that goes to show that when it comes to branding and marketing, you have to meet your audience where they are. So let's say that event was targeted towards your seniors who are in assisted living facilities. What would you do to market them? You would look at places like Hillsborough County Senior and Aging Services. You would look at places like Tampa Housing Authority and some of our senior living facilities. And so, with that being said, it's about meeting them where they are. And you have to do your research to figure out first, who am I targeting? Who really can afford my product? Who really will consume my service? And then from there, where are they? They're not going to find you. You have to find them. And so you can do that in a plethora of ways. Email marketing is also another very affordable, low-hanging fruit, but very effective. And there's metrics to support the effectiveness of what it can do.
Absolutely. I'll give you a perfect example, and I'm sure In Touch News can do the same thing. We did a blast last week. Stephanie Pollard had an event in Gainesville. She came in on the radio to the station, gave away some tickets, and then we gifted some tickets to an individual in Gainesville. Saw the flyer. She called me back today.
Wow.
Private company wants to advertise in DSI Black Pages. Mm-hmm. And that's what it's all about.
That's how it's done.
So when you're thinking about factoring in that 1% of your budget, In Touch News, E-Blast, DSI Black Pages, we do our weekly E-Blast.
Yeah.
We're global. It gets out, as we know, from Gina in Memphis.
And in fact, even within my own company, I had a post scheduled to go out to thousands of emails at 11:45. Telling them to tune in at 12:30 on your lunch break.
And they're tuning in.
So catching them right before they leave the door.
Thank you all for having lunch with us. What other points and tips you want to give out is we begin to wind down.
So then I guess I'll leave you with my top 3 just as a recap. 1, getting started, remembering you're a brand, and staying relevant. And those are things that are a lot easier said than done, but it's about being strategic. And I'll say this, if you're a business owner and your business doesn't have anything to do with marketing and branding, then it's not your job.
All right. So you call the experts.
Call-marketing.
Call-marketing. Call-marketing. I did want to ask you, in the business of marketing and branding, it all comes together, even with the events that you plan and coordinate and put on. You mentioned people are saying, okay, I've done this for 3 months. It's boring. Can you share with us, and this is off the cuff, one of your most exciting events that you had the pleasure of planning? I've followed you, and I've seen some good ones.
Okay,
and
yeah.
I was like,
oh.
look at this girl.
Okay.
Mine was a car dealership.
That came to mind.
And I said, my girl has made it. It was the caliber of vehicles that you got to host.
Yep.
Your favorite.
I actually think that is it. I was thinking it's the Capital Cadillac Standard of Living Honors Awards that I produced. And it was fulfilling in more ways than one. One, because we were identifying pioneers within the community who were making a difference. So then there was that give back. That was the fulfillment. And then it was on the planner side, transforming a car dealership into a red carpet, black tie, casino-themed event space.
Girl, it was an event you wanted to be there for.
It certainly was. I mean, it was planned from top to bottom. The execution went as planned. I had a great support team. My interns, my staff, everyone was great. My sister from New York, Christina, shout out.
Yes.
She even came down and was like, we gonna make this work. And so that was a very exciting event to do. Yeah.
I still remember that.
Yeah.
And you all need to go on her website and see what she wore to that event.
It was
absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So you've heard the points that we've talked about. I like the way, even in producing the float for Tampa Housing Authority, that was phenomenal. I mean, you brought the whole family in. And you all produced an amazing float.
Absolutely. We made it relevant to the brand.
Relevant.
It was supposed to be the Tampa on Wheels.
Tampa on Wheels. Well, we're going to make this show relevant. We're here with the support of In Touch News Radio. Thank you so much, DJ CEO. My moment in Black history is our living legend legacy, Mr. James A. Hammond, founder of the THAP Group, Tampa Hillsborough Action Plan. Yay! Listen, I want to do a shout out for Moffitt Cancer Center. The Men's Health Forum is coming up Saturday, March 16th. You'll be able to follow us, find it on our weekly e-blast. Don't forget, we've got under 10 tickets left for the Paradise. That's going to be a phenomenal event for the Dental Association. And then also with our HAPSI, the National Hillsborough Alliance of Black Educators, Invest in Your Future.
Nice.
Yes, this is going to be a great forum on Saturday, March 2nd. March 2nd is going to be a busy day. And by all means, do not forget to pick up the latest edition of In Touch News. And let's see, we've got the Black and Brown and College Bound. That's also coming here with Dr. Michael Eric Dyson. So he's going to be there, Black, Brown, and College Bound. That's going to be, is it an HCC this year as well? No, Tampa Marriott, Waterside. Tampa Marriott. Make sure you catch that March the 8th. Oh my gosh, the MC, sports guru, James Brown. The top of the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're making it relevant here, right here in East Tampa, 5508 In Touch News. We look forward to seeing you back, Diva J.
I'll be here.
On your Wednesday, the third Wednesday of the month. I look forward to hearing you share more strategies about the business. We've enjoyed you all. Don't forget the call-in number, 813-444-9588. Thank you to our listening audience. Let's Talk Business with Cheryl J. Cusseaux. We will see you back in 1 week at 12:31 p.m. God bless. Thank you all.
Thank you.